I should have dropped this video like a month ago, or 2 months ago, I don't remember. I didn't really feel like it, but we're here now. Before we start though, this is my rank, and these are my stats. I never posted a video to show that I got to God 1, because I never really felt like it, but just so you guys know, you're not getting advice from a green rank. If I woke up tomorrow and I lost all my knowledge of Tekken, and I would have to learn the game over again, I would want to start with pokes. Pokes and fundamental Tekken is the most important part of the game. It can carry you. If you're at like Fujin, this can carry you to like Tekken God Destruction. You'd have to put in some more effort to get to God 1 and Labin, but poking is so important. Now, what is a poke? In my opinion, a poke is a fast move that does unrecoverable damage. It's not too unsafe on block, and it recovers fast on whiff. So you're not putting yourself at too much risk. Let's look at some of Jin's pokes. He has 1-2. Oops, didn't know I still had that on. Let's just make it be not set. So he has 1-2, 2-1, down forward 1, down back 4, down 2, while sending 4. Moves like these. But to start off slow, we're going to be looking at his jabs, just to start out. So he has 1-2 and 2-1. Both of these moves have variations. So these are the first two variations of his 1-2. There's a high you can duck, and there's a mid, and if you duck it, you get knocked down. Now both options get beaten by a down jab, right? It's fast enough to beat the mid, and it goes under the high. So that's what makes it so powerful in this little mini situation. Now, they also gave him an extension in Tekken 8. 1-2-1. If you down jab, you get hit. If you jab, you get hit. But the downside is it's launch punishable on block. That's the downside. And they can get a full combo. And just like his 1-2, his 2-1 also has an extension, 2-1-4, which you can punish, you can jab punish. Now, these moves have extensions, but you don't have to always use them. You can always just stop at the 2-1, or the 1-2 or the 2-1. You can just stop. 2-1, down back 4. 2-1, up forward 1 plus 2 forward grab. 2-1, electric. 2-1, 1-2. 2-1, down forward 1 to check your opponent. There's two sides why these moves are so good, right? The fastest move your opponent can do, apart from some characters like Yoshi, is a jab, right? So these are the fastest moves in the game. What makes Jin's jab so good is that on hit, when they actually connect, I'm at +6. And some of my best moves come out in like 16, 15 frames, right? So if I land my jabs and I go for a forward 4, which is like 16 frames by itself, and my opponent mashes, I get a full combo. But that full combo only comes from the fact that you set up these pokes, right? 2-1, forward 4. Now your big fancy combo is coming from the fact that you're using pokes to get them. You're not just out in the neutral throwing out random forward 4s. It is useful for keep out, but sometimes using pokes to set it up makes it a lot much more advantageous, and it's going to make it a lot much more likely you're going to get the move to land. That's why I like pokes so much. So, okay, pokes are good on hit, right? You don't even have to go for the forward 4. You can keep it safe. This move is completely safe, unless they step it, right? And just like my jabs, it's +6 on hit. So it's my turn again. So if you fight an opponent and you do something like this, you can keep your pressure going, all because you did some jabs. Now, they're +6 on hit, but they're -3 on block. Tekken is a 3D game. I believe they said that you can sidestep up until -5, but I don't think Jin really has any moves at -5, right? His good moves, his sweet spot is -3. Turn off the punish. So like a lot of his moves are like -3. 174, -3. 2-1, -3. 1-2, -3. Down forward 1, -3. This one is also super good. It's really, really good because it's 0. 0 means neutral. So it's not my turn, it's not the opponent's turn. We're just in a constant state, just neutral. So if we both do a jab, it's gonna trade. Now, let me show you what that means. See, we both got hit. That's what it means by neutral. Now, if I was minus, like -3, his jabs would win. But because Tekken is a 3D game, you can use movement. That's what they don't tell you. This is like a little gate-kept strat. Unless you really know how to play the game, you won't really know about it. But you can use pokes on hit to set up your advantage, to start your pressure. But when they're blocked, you use movement to get those launchers. That's what makes this poke so good. You don't always have to put yourself at risk, right? You want to come in on your opponent, pause, and you just want to check them with a mid. Okay, they blocked it. That's fine. You can still move. Now you just got a launcher from a -3 on block move. Now, an important part to always remember, this might work for me, but it might not work for you. Because this is based on what your opponent wants to do. For instance, right? This is a tracking move. Whenever you play Tekken and you see a little green glow, that means it's a tracking move. If I try to sidestep to dodge a move, and they do a tracking move, it's gonna hit me, right? That's the weakness. So I can say that, oh, do 2-1 and sidestep, but your opponent does a tracking move, and the entire thing goes out the window. To some extent, but it doesn't all go out the window. Remember, Jin's jabs, they have extensions. And you don't always have to finish the entire thing. In this scenario, you would, because the 4 is like 13 frames, it's going to trade with a jab. So if I do a -3 move into a jab, I'm going to get hit or it's going to trade. But you can deter your opponent from pushing buttons with your extensions. With a high crushing move, because the 4 is a high. See? I'm going under his kick. You can even do like jabs into a power crush. There are ways for you to, you always want to deter your opponent from pushing buttons. And then you can start mixing in the lows when they start respecting you. Okay, I'm scared. I'm not going to push buttons because I know my opponent is crazy. But you're just doing that to condition them. That's when you start using your lows. When you condition your opponent, that's when you start using your bigger moves. It's all dependent on what your opponent wants to do, right? And as I said before, what makes this jab so good, on a hit, you can set up frame traps, right? The jabs connect, that's a frame trap. The jabs connect, that's also a frame trap. But if your opponent wants to chicken up, to turtle up and block, you have plus moves like this. You can have a running 3 to keep them in check. The dive kick. But you want to check them first. You want to see what they want to do. They're scared? That's when you start going for the bigger moves. You don't want to start out the set going for these big crazy moves or going for a 50-50 mix constantly. You want to move around, use down forward ones to check them. I didn't really speak on down forward 1 a lot, but it's really good because it's a mid. If they duck, they get hit. If they do a high crushing move like this and you check them with a down forward 1, they get hit. But just like his jabs, it's -3, so you can move. Oops, that is a tracking move. Punish. So just like his jabs, you can step. It's a lot much more difficult to be out here in the neutral and try to step an electric. But if you set up the situation for it, you can step it. So it's all about timing and getting reads on your opponent, right? Remember, a lot of his moves have extensions, even his down forward 1, to stop them from mashing. Like, if I was the Jin player in this situation and my opponent likes to do electric after my moves or jabs, I would just finish the string until they start wanting to block because they're getting hit. When they want to block, that's when I would start using my other moves. They're scared of me now. Start using your grabs. Scared. That's when your other moves come into play. That's what makes Jin so strong. I understand, like, he's good. Like, you have down 2, you always have your hell sweep. But what will actually carry you and take you to the next level is understanding how to poke. Whenever your opponent is doing like a big, every one of these moves, the only weakness is that they start up slightly slower than pokes. So you use these faster moves to keep your opponent in check, to slow down the match. And when they start respecting you, that's when you go for the bigger moves. That's when you mix them. Don't start out the game with these big crazy moves. See what they want to do first. Can my opponent break grabs? Use your pokes to set that up. How does my opponent react when I kick them in their legs? Do they like to mash? Get information from these quick moves. How do they react when they're at -1? Are they gonna mash so I can just back up and hit an electric? Are they gonna respect the down 4 so I can just do another one or a bigger move? That's how you get information on your opponent. A lot of people skip this because Tekken is seen as just like, especially Tekken 8, an explosive game. You got moves like these. Nobody wants to load up the game and do pokes. No, I want to use a Kamehameha to beat my opponent. And I can't really say I blame him, but it will get to a point where it won't work anymore. It's kind of, you don't see it as often because this is Tekken 8, but in previous games, and it still happens in this one, you'll find an opponent where they just shut you down completely and you can't understand why. Like, why am I just getting beat up so much? Why are they always ahead of me in terms of timing, pokes, and spacing? It's because they're better at the game fundamentally, and that's what I'm trying to change. Pokes are really good, and once you have it mastered, the entire game is going to change. Trust me. I also forgot to mention, a lot of people like to jab after Jin's lows. It's like after down back 4. If you want to check them on like a down forward 1 after the low connects, it's going to trade with a jab, right? So you won't really have advantage because you just traded. The way for you to beat this is Jin's Magic 4. This is +3 and this is 13. So it's going to trade with a jab. See, we both got hit. But the situation for Jin is much more advantageous because look at the frames. I'm plus 27, they're minus 27. That means I can get a full combo off this trade. Now, sometimes they won't do a standing jab, right? Oops. That's offense. Now, a down jab crushes highs, right? So if I land it and I go for the magic 4, it will go under my high. Like this. Now, or you can always do a down forward 1, but it trades. You don't want to be in a situation where you're trading unless the follow-up is in your favor. What Jin has, and not a lot of characters in this game have it, is a 12 frame mid. This move right here. It's nothing too crazy, but it does deter your opponent from mashing. So it beats them in this situation. That's his little mix-up. Or like, it's just a frame trap. It's not really a mix-up. If they like to mash after down back 4, you also have down forward 3 to keep them in check. I didn't really put that in there, so I'm going to add it at the end. It's really good. And when it lands, you're plus 3. You can do another one. If they start respecting a down forward 3, just recycle it. Or do a 2-1. You see, the poking game just keeps on coming back based on the moves you use and based on the moves your opponent used to stop you from beating them up. This connects, I'm plus 3. I can enforce my jabs again. That's what makes it so important. And look at that, half health from pokes. No crazy big moves. No dive kicks, no zen up ones. No forward 4 into zen. Quick, simple pokes to understand how your opponent wants to play. If you're fighting, you do a down back 4. You see they want to mash. Down forward 3 will work, or take it a step further, sidestep. But I'm going to save that for another video. I might go a bit more in depth with the pokes, because sometimes you want to use something to check them like this, but sometimes you also want to move and get a launch. So there's different ways you can look at it.
Percocet, Miley Percocet, Percocet, Miley Percocet, Percocet.